Мікрофони працюють.
Greetings from UCMC now. Community spokespersons, leaders, provide information about decentralization reform. This is the initiative of UCMC-DOBRE project initiative, and now we have 5 years of the start of decentralization reform. A lot has been done. Local budgets, 68 billion in 2014 rose several times, and many territorial communities were created, and 85 communities wait for elections, and many communities complete their formation. And we are going to speak about the influence of decentralization on the development of their territories, and whether people feel changes. Now more than 9 million people live in territorial communities that were amalgamated. The guest today is Volodymyr Popovych, head of Lanchynska amalgamated community from Ivano-Frankivsk region. Good afternoon, Volodymyr, and today we're going to speak about decentralization and its influence on mountainous territories and the plan of implementation of the concept of the development of mountainous territories that was adopted by government until 2027, and whether the gates to Carpathians, that is Lanchynska community, be able to open this route for tourism. So it was created from 2 councils. Now one more council joined, more than 10,000 of people. So why did you get united? We were not the leaders. We were in the 3rd cohort, and we were able to use the experience that our colleagues gained during 2 years. So we had information, and we were able to understand that the decentralization process is irreversible. And if we are speaking about large categories, I believe that we felt, and the village felt, community feels that top officials were not ready for changes, and it was difficult to provide change from the grassroots level. Many pressing issues remained unresolved, and the issue appeared to get united. And those communities that became centers, they had support, and population wanted others to join. And those who joined, they didn't want to, so we had to assure people that this is necessary. And Lanchynska territorial community with a center in Lanchyn, this is previously a regional center, and it was the population was richer than in other villages. And 2015, 2016, 2017, we understood that community lost infrastructure subvention, and these are tens of millions. That's why we had to reassure people that this is really necessary. I always provide example. Those who travel in the train, those who come to the car, they take their seat, and they want to have their tea at the table, and the faster you get, the better place you will take. And we understand that infrastructure subvents, they were calculated per the number of communities and the population that is in community. And each year, according to the formula, the sum decreased. That's why we understood that we should get united in order to use this. And also we assured people that this is really necessary. This is not only about money. This is the change in thinking. This is a complete change of the opinion about the community. When I studied at school, I wanted Lanchyn to become a regional center, the center of the community. I thought we would develop, we would resolve the issues. And it happened in reality. In 1 year, we explained to people, and people understood that community is irreversible. Community should be developed. People should deal with this community properly and to provide example to other settlements that didn't unite. And so Lanchynska community united, and in 95 regions there are no amalgamated communities, and this is not good. But also I was surprised by the head of the community, because before elections, you had the Department of Economic Development of Regional Administration. You are a PhD in economics, and also you worked as an assistant professor. And why did you join this process? Because there is a lot of work. So they said, and why did you leave headquarters and went to the front line? And, you know, I'm from a village, and my parents and parents of my wife, they lived in the same village. And I want to say that starting 1985, I was the youngest head of the community. There were two villages, Lanchyn and Dobre village. So I had the experience working in community. I was young, and I was young specialist, and I used my professional experience, and now I would like to prove that a lot of things can be done, at least to start these things. And during those years, for 6.5 years, starting 1984 till 1992, I was the head of the community. Then we expected that someone should give you something, and now you should earn. And I won elections and got trust of the people. We started to work with the project. We started to work with investors. We started to work with the sources of financing. And today, any specialist can say what the proceeds in the budgets are and where we can get money, and how to get this money. So if we are speaking about the budget of 3 million before and 56 million now in the budget, so this is about the ability to manage it, and also we should deal with it properly. So now we have 56 million in the budget compared with 3 million before. So you were created in 2018. So what projects you implemented? And maybe in 1 year, I understand that it's not a lot, but what have you managed to do? So this is an interesting question. When we came to the community, we started from the scratch. What does it mean? We opened the accounts, so we zeroed them first, and we opened the accounts, and there was competition for the vacancies, and it needs time, appointments, organization of work, signing of agreements, and also taking part in different projects and programs. So parallel also you should learn. You should learn, and you should teach people as well. And during this short period of time, we were able to do something important. And first, this is what we did, we bought a new car, Maz. This is the car for carrying out wastes for communal enterprise. We bought a mini tractor for removing snow, for bringing out garbage. We also won in 2017 the project, and this was the project. We were able to replace our firefighting vehicle, and we made capital repairs and provided warm boxes, and also we bought a module auto pump in order to extinguish fire, especially extinguish fire in the grass. And also what we did, so we carried out survey among students at school. We provided anonymous questionnaire. First question was, what are the major problems in the village? How would you resolve this problem? And how our community differs from other communities, and I explain why. To see what the students from school, what can they provide for us. So, and we were really interested in the results. We got interesting answers and also negative results. So the main problem was mentioned. They heard it maybe in the kitchen. This is not about children. This is the the repairs of the bridge, and they don't travel there. Children do not go to this bridge, but they heard about this problem and they put it as a priority. And not only in community, but also in Ukraine, the biggest problem is the repairs of roads. So the main focus should be put not only in community, but also in other communities. And maybe we will be able to speak about this topic, how to resolve this problem, how to solve it. At the same time, interesting answers were provided that today the same children, the children from the top classes, they also want to have a relaxation zone, a square, a park. We call it open air, where there would be place for some music, street music, mini attractions, maybe some playing ground, and also tables for playing chess and checkers, and we got it, and maybe not everything is lost. And also we heard another proposal, and children want to have a cafe without alcohol in the premise. They want to spend time there. They want to plant some garden, to have trees. Also, we analyzed different options, and we tried to form a social and economic development program based on these proposals. Also, due to different types of financing and infrastructure subvents, we were able to implement capital repairs and other works for Dobre when it joined our community for 1,300,000 hryvnias. We didn't have it before. We covered 3 units of school, and also we established equipment in the sports unit, and also we provided lighting to the park, and we replaced all the light bulbs, and also we repaired roads, the main repairs. So at the same time, we used such a formula, and I didn't see it before as private and state partnership. Little envisages some high forms. of cooperation, some agreement, registration, reporting, and we went along the simple way. We signed with communities, with those people that we provide materials, and the workforce is provided by people, they participate. And we built 16-meter bridge for crossing. Before they didn't have such an opportunity. They went another way. They have problems with traveling, and we used such a form. And the day before yesterday also we completed the bridge of 126 meters. We provided materials and workforce, and some materials were provided by people. So this is some suspension bridge. This is the force of our community. We did it together. So also a project for channeling of water and creation of collector, and we should start from scratch. And now we provided the project documentation for the project, and we can continue with such things. And of course, it never be enough, but this is the start. In 1 year, a lot has been done. And this year, we will be able to complete those projects that we started last year. And what I want to say, what I heard, in 1 year, you did really a lot. These problems were not resolved throughout many years. Maybe there will be a philosophical question. I heard people say that, for example, schools and kindergartens repaired, 3 kilometers of road was built, and some people say, so what? People say. And some people listen to us now, and maybe they will say, oh, I don't feel all this. How to work with people, how to communicate with them, in order that people not just waited for reports. You've mentioned the bridge, when people came and built this bridge. How to build communication in order to build community? I agree with you completely. The issue is, and the issue of this question is really broad. When we participate in different programs and projects, and we participate in training here in Kiev in the framework of DOBRE project, we undergo training. This is a soft component, and we learn and speak about these things, and we work with the ULEAD project, and this year there will be a center of provision of administrative services. It will be completed this year. This is an important component in order to provide all services in one place without contact with bureaucrats. And also we work with the DOBRE program to reconstruct the square of Shkrmelyak, our poet, but we are not speaking about this poet. We are speaking about the place, the open space named after him. There is free Wi-Fi, separate places for relaxation, and there can be a geographical center of the community. It can be created there. Also, we work with other projects. We signed an agreement. We won the contest of local self-government at the level of regional council to create observation tower and to create a relaxation zone. And they say they do not have roads, and they would like to build a tower and relaxation zone. But I would think the same. And you know, we have a strategy that works in Lanchyn community. We are in favorable geopolitical area. We are the center. We have a road that connects Moldova, Romania, Chernivtsi, Yaremcha, Bogovel, Rahiv to the border. And tourists go through Lanchyn, and we should attract these tourists for half a day, for a day, in order that they leave some money here. That's why I would like to say that we named this relaxation area as the gates to the Carpathians. So here there is a border between Gutsuz and Bogutyany, and between the border between Gutsulski region and we are in the center, and we may see 3 regions from here. And there is a relaxation area, and people make photographs there, and there are some aerial vehicles, and you may see all villages from above. So we do it for prospects, and we use the component. If we don't win it, other communities will win. That's why we should win to develop tourism infrastructure. And going forward, and I want you to know it, we signed municipal agreement between Lanchynska community and first community that was registered in Prikarpatska-Pechenizhinska community. We signed the first intermunicipal agreement. And we changed tourism route. First it was Ivano-Frankivsk, Delatin, Yeremcha, and to that side. Now we want to change this. Nadvirna, Delatin, Dobre, Lanchin, Molodyatin, Pechenizhin, Kolomia. So we change the specificity. We look forward, and we understand that this is not today, and people today won't feel this project, but we should start from something. Yes, we should start from something. We should change ourselves. We should change the opinion of the people, and we try to do this, and we should tell about it many times, what it will provide to everyone. I believe you will win in this project, even if it won't be so. The community will find a way to implement the project. Yes, we won this project this year, and no one believed that this can happen. And I said about it as a head of the community, because this is important. In the framework of this agreement, intermunicipal agreement, we should unite the interests of the communities. There will be the gates to Carpathians and the tourism route. Aprishkiv, it should be to Pechenizhin and to other areas. And we are neighbors, and I believe that this project will be developed. It's wonderful if community wants to earn from tourism. They have the opportunity to get more funds for other projects. From the start of 2019, the law is implemented that creates the basis for more income to the community due to the forests. And I know that this is important for your community as well. And you told us about the risks in this, that those firms that use forests, they are not registered in the community, and tax will go to the regions. And what about those risks? Could you prevent those risks in order not to have it? We discussed this topic, and I remember when this draft law was discussed and changes were introduced into it, there was up to 5%, 0 to 5% of tax, and now it is 0.1%. What it means? This is too little, and when we say that Srednymaidanska forest and the village that joined, and they have many hectares, and they got only 61,000 of hryvnias, and we provided this information, and legislators they took into account this information, and the money goes to the budget now, but we have other risks now. We lost the opportunity to regulate somehow this percentage. Before it was from some, and of course, it should not be 0. It should be 0.2 to 1%, because there are more profitable and less profitable forest enterprises, and some this 0.1%, 61,000. This is not a lot for community. This is little. And if we are speaking about land tax that we have now, where we have forests, there are some forest enterprises, the state forest enterprises are structural units. We have such enterprise with the fund of salary that is 2 million a year, and the tax from physical persons goes to the place of registration of enterprise. So the community today, they ruin our roads because they transport the forest, the wood, and we buy wood for our budget enterprises. No one provides it for free to us, and there is no participation in the social development. That's why this is important, and this is one of the problems. And those heads of the communities, they have the same situation. Budget code article 64 part 2 says that this tax should be paid at the place of office or at the place of activity of such enterprises, and they understand it differently, these enterprises. Fiscal service understand that these enterprises do not care where this tax comes from, but we care about it. And separate communities, they resolved these issues, and as of today, we are in the process of solving this problem, and we spoke about it at the meeting of the Association of Cities, and I raised this question there, and we provided a proposal, and everyone voted to envisage in the law that state fiscal service should obligatory provide to local government information about taxpayers, and in the law we have it now, and there is explanation by the service that we will provide overall general sum, but not the information about each taxpayer. So we will speak about these problems with the ministries, and I believe that they just are not ready, and they are not ready to implement the norms of decentralization, to transfer these functions, and not only to understand the logic of these things, but also to help communities to develop. Not everyone is ready to decentralization today, and such examples you've mentioned, they support this idea, and I believe that leaders as you of local government, they are interested, they are strong, and they want the situation to be changed, and I hope that you will be able to resolve this issue. Your community has one more peculiarity. You have mountainous settlements, and their development needs special attention because the specificity of the relief, not all the projects are easily implemented there as in other territories. How Lanchynska community see the development of these villages? I would like to see the development of these villages. I want them to be different in the development, but unfortunately, when we calculate the infrastructure subvents, the subvents does not include the specificity. This is only for the number of population, both for those who live in the plains and those who live in the mountains. So this is one of the instruments for the development, and maybe we won't see it in the concept because there are overall phrases. The concept is not the strategy in itself. it envisages the formation of the strategy. It should do this. The formation of the program of the development and formation of the measures of the program. And at the moment, this is just a concept. Maybe it is good that we have this concept, and we may believe that we will be protected in the status of mountainous settlements, and we clearly understand that there are other aspects. A simple problem. We provided a request 2 weeks ago to the Labor Department, and we wanted to get explanations about the minimum salary payments to the simple workers. They're financed from the local budget, so these are the workers of schools, gymnasiums, and the calculation of minimum salary envisages that mountainous settlements are included. For example, we have 3,500, and we use the percentage for the mountains. And if it's not enough, so they do not have the interest in this. These people should have the sum, the minimum salary, then they should have some money added for the mountainous settlements. But as of today, these norms are not implemented. Moreover, I would like to add, it's not about infrastructure subsidies. So those who have more than minimum salary, they benefit more because there is other percentage for formation. There should be another talk about the development of infrastructure. Infrastructure, for example, these are mountainous roads without resources. If you have some rocks, river, clay, but we cannot take anything in order to repair some roads. And who have this right? So these are state resources. We cannot provide permit to, for example, get some materials to repair the road. So more should be done. For example, if there is some harm to ecology, we understand that we want to create some proper conditions for people, and the closest carrier to buy some materials, it is far away. So we are limited in resources. This is not for everyone, but in order to increase the status of mountainous settlements, we believe that mountainous settlements, they should be able to use their own resources in order to improve living of people in that territory. There should be a balance. You said that the concept is not a program, and the Ministry of Regions, when they adopted the concept, they said that they started the elaboration of the plan of actions to implement the concept. And I know that oblast administrations joined, and maybe communities like yours should join the development of plan of actions. And administrations also started to implement the strategy, the oblast strategy, till 2027. And the interests of the mountainous settlements in these regions that have such territories, they should be their interests should be included in the strategy. We propose such a thing. We proposed a separate part to the strategy for the development of mountainous settlements, and there should be another plan of actions concerning the development of such territories. To implement the concept, we believe that such programs should be adopted at the level of the state. The state program of development of mountainous settlements should be adopted. Program is clear measure. There is those who implement, those who finance, and those who are responsible. People who are responsible, a person or a unit or an individual supplier. So we've met with the Prime Minister, the President, and we met with them and we provided our proposals and we hope for continuation. So you've mentioned the salary. Current legislation on mountainous settlements, it says that people who live in the territories of such settlements, they should have plus 25% to their salary, and if these are pensioners, plus 20% to their pensions, stipends and other social payments. There should be 20% plus. I imagine the situation. I would like to give an example. For example, I'm a prosecutor. I retired and have big pension, but maybe I will register in Lanchynska mountainous region to have 20% more to my pension. How can it how community can benefit from this? And maybe I do not want to pay a salary and pay 25% more, and I, for example, register at in the village that is not mountainous. And what is your approach to it? Because I believe that this approach do not contribute to the development of the villages. So you partly answered this question, but we have 11.5 thousand of population that is registered. They are registered, but also we have a difference because much more people live here, and this is the answer to your question. Dobre village has mountainous status, Vishnivtsi and Seredny Maidan, they are mountainous status. Lanchyn, as the center of the community, and Glinki, they do not have the status of mountainous settlements. So the logic question, and all pensioners and those who are going to have children, they are registered in other settlements. 1,500 live in this village, but many of them are registered in other settlements. There is no balance because they have this surplus, and if they had some benefits, for example, to pay less for electricity, they wouldn't have this gap. So people would think that they could benefit in some way from their status if they are registered in the village where they live. So the status of mountainous settlements and this legislation about mountainous status, it provides answer to this. If we look at the villages where they have only paths and there are no roads, and in winter it is impossible to get there, and you know that the law should be implemented, maybe proper changes should be introduced into legislation. We move forward, communication, internet, they all develop. That's why we should introduce proper changes and to implement measures that would attract people. Also, we should revise legislation in all the spheres, not only some addition to salary or to pension, but also concerning social economic development. So you said that the main is community, power, and business. You create community, elected power, and what about business in your community? How do you create conditions for the development of the business in the territory of your community? Of course, these are three main pillars of economic development in the region. They are based on the sources, on the official sources, on the legislation. So if we practice law on voluntary unification of territorial community, we should also think about the law on the development of the territories, the law on regional development. And recently, I haven't heard about the use of such a definition according to the law as communities, and they are envisaged by law as the regions, micro-regions and macro-regions. Micro-region is the united community. These are micro-regions. And the law envisages that we have some priorities. We have the right to have agreements. We can sign agreements between the Ministry of Regions, and we may also sign agreements with foreign counterparts. So the law envisages all this. And when we speak about the business, so the basis for the social economic development in the region is the community. So there should be some power, and we identified the main priorities for the development of business, and it is not really easy to work with these priorities. And we've declared that we will provide proper conditions for registration of business in the territory of the community in 8 months, starting first decision concerning allocation of lands. And in 8 months, we provided the package of documents to investors for building solar panels, 20 hectares of land. This land from the times of Soviet Union, it was not cultivated or used in other ways. There are bushes only, and we provided this land, these 20 hectares. What does it mean? It means that 12 working places will be created, and from August last year, we started to get a rent that we didn't have before, and it means that a proper infrastructure will be created, and we signed an agreement that when this solar panels will be put into operation, 1,000 hryvnias, 100,000 hryvnias will go for development. And during elections, they said that gas station should be built because the closest station is in 12 or 15 kilometers away from Lanchyn. And we built the station, and in 2019 we put it into operation. Starting 1st of January, we have several people, 7 people who work there, and the excise tax will also go to the budget, and starting 2020 there will be excise and tax, and also the payments for land, for rent. So we understand skeptics, we understand all those people who say that oh, they gave something to someone, they said, but we should create these working places. We should attract investors, otherwise we will be lagging behind. On the example of these 2 issues, and also we are speaking about wind energy today and building of wind station, and also I said about tourism, and maybe we should build hotels for these tourists, and step by step some places for tourists are created, and from Google, you may see that materials now are brought to build a hotel and restaurant at Dobrevsky Hill. So there will be a relaxation area. We provide these messages, and land becomes more costly, and people start to get documents for ownership, and it should be like that. We should do this, and foundation is made, construction will happen, and what will benefit from it? Our people who will get their salaries, their payments. So you provide good answers, and I would like to ask one more question about 3 pillars of local governance. So financial resources, responsibilities, and obligations. So those communities that got united, they also need responsibility. Now state control is absent, and concerning local supervision of local governance, but local governments are not interested in this law. And I would like to ask you whether today state supervision and control is needed over decisions, not like it was before, like a prosecutor's office did. We are speaking about preventive measures in order to prevent violations of law. I believe that it should be like you've said, to have some preventive options. When the functions were transferred at the local level, we've provided a request to the departments of ministries, starting police, prosecutor's office, and state consumer service. We've asked them to provide proposals concerning improvement, cooperation with business and other structures. We didn't get any proposal. They said about reinforcement of control and responsibility, and to provide permit to verify, to check. So these are departmental obstacles that are created, and there should be only one structure that would study, not like today. Today we get packs of letters, but this information is on our site. All the decisions are in free access according with the law for provision of information. So they ask for some copies of documents. Someone wants to control something. Studying Estonia experience, I was in Yahve Volest, and they have about 12,000 of population, and we were in the hall. We held negotiations, and their head said that they should leave, and they should go to their office because teachers will have their meeting in the same hall. And I asked them whether they have their own hall, and he said, no, this place should constantly be busy. And during weekends, they have other activities. During weekends, they have some discotheques, some dances here. And I asked, and what about the prices? And I asked them what prosecutor's office say, what controlling bodies say, and they said that these bodies do not have any relation to them. They voted this decision on their session. So I believe that if it is to the benefit of the community, and if it doesn't violate legislation, it can be like this. So maybe there should be a body of monitoring. They should study and then take decision whether there is a violation if there is some breaches and some violations, for example, that the head may be brought to responsibility if I take something from the, for example, some sand from the river, so everyone would shout. But we created proper conditions, and we should have a proper approach to things. And there are some proposals concerning this, and decisions often are taken at the top level, and no one takes into account the opinion of the grassroots level. It was really interesting speaking to you. You told us about a really good community. While listening to you, I remembered the words of our president. He said that he would appoint the heads of oblast administrations, those who are heads of territorial communities, and we believe that we see that you may become this head of oblast. So what is your opinion about the future of your community? When I was the head for the first time in my community, I wanted to see it as the cultural center, geographical center, and regional center, and the center of the community and the village council. And so there should be culture of behavior, culture of perception, of communication, sorting of wastes. So culture should be in every area. We should do this. The process of decentralization is an irreversible process. Today we are speaking about sorting of wastes. Before we didn't do it. For example, we say yellow is paper. We should tell about it today, tomorrow, because for the first time people do not get this. So you should work, and also you should have good rest. So on our site we provide a lot of information. I do not like this word flash mob, but in one place we gathered 1,000 people who sang carols, and people just didn't want to leave. And also there is a festival of spiritual song. This is for the people of the Middle Age. We also gathered many people for the contest. These are the choirs of 5 churches. They sang 2 spiritual songs each. A week ago, we ended people want to participate in those activities. So power may change, policy may change, but people should have a chance. People should believe in their power. They had some sacred processes, sacred processions in our village as well. And of course, people do not have 100% understanding of things. There are some peer actions, but we hold the Day of the Mother, the Day of the Village, and we provide concerts for people, and people participate. Talented people of our community participate. We have these talents in our community. I believe in my community. We invite guests. We invite everyone who really care. For example, if we say that there is a church in the village, it's not enough. We should speak about its history. So you may touch the god of sun in local museum, for example. This may become a surprise for those people who visit us. You may visit those artifacts. They are really interesting. I invite everyone. I thank everyone. And I thank you for inviting me to this interview. I want everyone to know about my community. All Ukraine should know about it. When we read, when we look through presentations of our community, we get experience from others. We constantly learn. We learn, and let's now end our briefing. Today we were speaking with Volodymyr Popovych. He is the head of Lanchynska amalgamated community, Ivano-Frankivsk region. Thank you very much and goodbye.